dismissed head coach Alvin Gentry on Saturday. That's a nice way of putting it. The team is reportedly looking at Ty Lue and Jason Kidd. Clearly, Nick, a big question is going to be how a new coach will fit with Zion Williamson. So who do you think is the best fit to coach Zion?
Ty Lue is an absolute no-brainer here. I think Ty Lue is an A- to an A-level NBA head coach. I think Jason Kidd, the only reason I would hire Jason Kidd to be my head coach is if I thought I had a very good chance of getting Giannis in free agency. I don't think Kidd helps you a ton on the sideline as a head coach, but if you get Giannis, then it's fine. But the Pelicans obviously can't get Giannis in free agency. So to me, Wilds, this is a no-brainer. I would absolutely go Ty Lue, and I would imagine he's available. They won't lowball him like the Lakers did a year ago, Wilds.
I'm surprised Kenny Atkinson's name hasn't been kicked around as far as developing young players. Twan, I want to kick it to you. Is there a difference in coaches between like a coach for a team with young players versus a coach for a team with experienced players?
Oh, without question. I think it's some coaches that cannot coach young players. We'll see what Tibbs does in New York. I don't think he's a young guy coach. I think he's a better fit for veteran team, but we'll see. I like T. Lue or Jason Kidd for this job. I think both of those guys can motivate young guys, get them better with the roster that the Pelicans have in place. I think the biggest thing for New Orleans, they're going to have to figure out who's going to be the guy that can get Zion Williams to buy into his body, to dedicate himself to getting better. If they could do that, then that's the coach going to be the right coach for him. I think T. Lue has an advantage because he's coached the greatest player in the league right now in LeBron James. So both of those guys are fine. Will be great hires.
All right, moving on to the Brooklyn bench boss. The Nets are reportedly expected to pursue Greg Popovich this offseason. That's what you call a pipe dream, but a dream nonetheless. Antoine, what would Pop mean for Durant and Kyrie?
Don't get me wrong, I love Pop. You can't take anything from him. One of the greatest coaches, if not the greatest coach to ever coach the game. But he wouldn't be a good fit for those guys. Those guys, I'm a firm believer that, you got to get some guys, some different type of guys to motivate Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Because the biggest thing is getting the pieces around them. Kyrie and both have won championships. How can you get those other pieces to buy in to become a championship level players? I don't know if Pop got that motivation left. I mean, he's got a ton of rings. He's accomplished everything he can accomplish as a coach. I don't know if he'll be the right guy to motivate that team to get to the next level.
Nick, I don't know what to make of this story. I don't know if it's so outlandish I should ignore it 100%, or it's so outlandish I should start paying attention to it. I don't know where you sit on it.
I think it's more the former than the latter. I don't see this happening at all. I don't know why Pop, at this stage in his career, would uproot himself from San Antonio. I understand they can't win a title there, and you would go into next season with a healthy Brooklyn team as one of the favorites. But let me remind everybody of something real quick. If this were something Pop were considering, who is the first person you think he would call, or one of the first people? The answer to that is Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr, who played for Pop, who has a great relationship with Pop, who Pop counseled when he was choosing job options. Steve Kerr has talked about the experience of coaching Kevin Durant, the positives and the negatives that went along with it. I don't think Kerr would actually, give a glowing recommendation of, this will be a fun, easy retirement job for you, Pop. KD and Kyrie, whatever his newest new age theory is, it makes no sense to me. That's going to be a great team, and they're going to get whatever coach KD and Kyrie want. I don't know if it is Pop, who's one of the 3 greatest coaches ever.
No, but it's a fun rumor to discuss. On to the best of the bubble. Dame Lillard was named unanimous bubble MVP on Saturday. But it was our guy, Nick Wright, who took home the real honor, nailing the all-bubble first team of Dame, Harden, Luka, Booker, and T.J. Warren. Nick, kudos to you and your picks, and the sad knowledge that you still don't have a vote, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so those were the guys who made it. Nick, who do you think was the biggest omission?
Wilds, I think it's Kristaps. Kristaps gave you 30 and 10 in playing some of the best basketball of his career for the Mavs. He is I know we're not talking about it yet, but in the Clippers-Mavs series, he is maybe the most important player on the court for Dallas, because you know what you're going to get from Luka. And so, while I love giving myself credit for things, this was the obvious five-man all-bubble team. I don't know how anyone could have had any other than these five. So I appreciate you guys reminding the audience I got it right. But everyone, I would imagine, got this right. But Wilds, I would say Kristaps was the first man out, so to speak.
Okay, so I was happy with the list. I also don't have a vote, but I'm pushing all of my support towards Nick. I have one. You know, I've been on the Blazers the entire time, Jenna, and I love Dame with all my heart and soul. But like, Devin Booker didn't win a game, and if we're looking at it as just like pure bubble, Devin Booker deserves it, and Dame agrees. He went 9-0 or 8-0. He didn't go 9-0. But like, he deserves the MVP, and I think Dame agrees. So Antoine, I just want Devin Booker to have the MVP.
Congratulations, Nick. A- job. You forgot one player that should have been on there. And Michael Porter Jr. should have been on there. Michael Porter Jr., the only 50-40-90 guy, averaging 20 points in the bubble, had an unbelievable bubble, and he's on his way to being a superstar in the league. They can let Paul Millsap retire now, and Michael Porter can become that power forward. They're going alongside Nurkic. So I think you had a great list, Nick. James Harden could be replaced with Michael Porter Jr.
Most improved of the bubble, Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah.
From one prediction to the next now, with the NBA playoffs officially tipping off today, Nick will make his playoff predictions. Nick, I've waited 8 long games for these predictions. Let us start with what you have in the Eastern bracket.
All right, just like the bubble, I went 5 for 5. Here, I'm going to go 15 for 15 as far as who's advancing. I can't guarantee I will get every series down to the game, but I imagine I'll get most. In the East, the easy part is obviously the Bucks are going to dominate the Magic. I think the Heat will handle the undermanned Pacers. I like the Celtics over the Sixers. I think Embiid wins them a couple games. They have an off night. I think it goes 7, but the Celtics win. And obviously, the Raptors are going to beat the Nets. I have it going 6 out of respect for how hard the Nets played. Then the Bucks move on. I know a lot of people, Antoine, think Bam Adebayo in Miami can give the Bucks trouble. I think they give them some trouble if the Bucks move on. I have your beloved Celtics in a classic series against Toronto, getting over the hump as Jason Tatum tries to become one of the 15 best players in basketball. And then that train ends in the conference finals when the Celtics have no answer for the Bucks. I got the Bucks in 5. So that's what my Eastern Conference bracket looks like. I think Celtic fans will be surprised I have them going as far as I do, upsetting Toronto. Your take on my Eastern side of the bracket, Antoine?
This is always tough for me because you know I'm a huge Celtic guy, but I don't like the Celtics getting past the Toronto Raptors in the second round. I like the Eastern Conference matchup.
Take integrity.
Yeah, I like the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Toronto Raptors. In the Eastern Conference finals, I like the Bucks to get to the finals. So not bad, Nick, but I don't like the I don't like the Celtics to beat the Raptors. Too much experience. The size will play a factor in that series. Not really a healthy Kemba Walker. I can't really roll with the Celtics to beat the Toronto Raptors.
Nick, this seems like a rough day for our Canadian fans. And first things first, you also have the Nets giving them 6 games. Why? I like the Nets. They put up a nice fight against Dame, but 6 games seems like a lot. Why are you so high on the Nets all of a sudden?
Well, just shout out Jacques Vaughn, Karis LeVert. I just love how they played in theory, meaningless game against Portland at the end. I think that I don't think the Nets get walked over, and I think the Raptors, they're defending champs. They know they're going to move on. I just don't know if they're going to have a total sense of urgency in round 1 when they know they're going to have Boston, and if they get past Boston, Milwaukee in the next round, Jenna.
All right, let's move to the other side, to the Western bracket. How do you see this playing out, Nick?
All right, well, listen, one thing's going to jump off the page for everyone, so I'll get to it quickly. Lakers in 5, I already said that. I think the Rockets, even without Russ, beat the Thunder, but that'll be a great series. The Jazz are just devastated by Bojan Bogdanovic doesn't come to the bubble. Then you have Ed Davis hurt, and now you've got No Mike Conley, at least in the beginning. So I think the Nuggets crush the Jazz. And in a good series, the Clippers beat the Mavs. Obviously, I've got the Lakers beating the Rockets. I think that'll be a great series, beating them in 7. And then this is going to be the surprise for everyone. I thought the Nuggets, Antoine, you were just giving Michael Porter Jr. a ton of love. I know Gary Harris Jr. and Will Barton haven't played yet. But with Jamal Murray back, with Jokic doing Jokic things, slow-mo, brilliant passing, Arvydas Sabonis-like, the addition or the emergence of Michael Porter Jr. to me, Antoine, is really intriguing and could be enough to put them over the top on the Clippers. On top of that, I know everyone is saying, oh, the Clippers have Montrezl Harrell back. He hadn't played basketball essentially in 5 months. I don't know if Montrezl Harrell is going to be, we saw what Zion looked like. I don't know what Montrezl Harrell is going to be able to give to them. I think you're going to need all of your front court against the Nuggets in round 2. So the big surprise, I'm sure, for many is having the Nuggets beating the Clippers. It's not probably a surprise to anyone. I have the Lakers winning the West, Antoine.
If Russell Westbrook doesn't come back healthy, I like OKC to get out that series with that 3-guard offense. I like them to get out because they can play small ball with the advantage being Steven Adams in the middle. You can have a legit center on the floor. So I like OKC upsetting the Houston Rockets in that first round. Denver Nuggets, I do not believe they can beat the Clippers. I just believe the Clippers are a playoff team that's championship built. I know it's hard for people to believe that they're going to just be able to turn it on. We didn't see a lot of great basketball out of them. Obviously, they had some distractions, but I still think the Clippers are a team that's built to win a championship. So I think they'll get to the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers. It's going to be a grueling 7-game series against the Lakers. I like the Lakers in 7 games to beat the Clippers to get to the finals against the Milwaukee Bucks. Still going to stay with the Lakers. I just think LeBron James is on a mission. Anthony Davis is playing at a very, very high level. By the time they get to the Western Conference Finals, they'll have an 8-9-man rotation in place, and they can get past the Los Angeles Clippers.